It is the year 2002 and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 is currently in development. EA decided to commission the development of the PS version to the developer studio Black Box Games. At that time, it was not uncommon for multiple developers to work on different versions of a game. EA had already involved studios such as EA Seattle, EA Canada, and Eden Games in various Need for Speed titles. For Black Box Games, Hot Pursuit 2 was the first Need for Speed title they developed. Surprisingly, the PS version was received so well after its release that EA decided to hand over full responsibility for the series to Black Box. This led them to develop Need for Speed Underground in 2003, a game that steered the series in a completely new direction. Before Underground, Need for Speed was primarily known for its exotic supercars and police chases. However, in this installment, the expensive cars and police chases were replaced by the tuning scene. Cars like the McLaren and Lamborghini were no longer present. Instead, the game featured vehicles like the VW Golf and the Honda Civic, which could be tuned from ordinary everyday cars into racing machines. For the first time, players were given the opportunity to extensively change not only the performance of the cars, but also their appearance. One could add body kits, spoilers, hoods, neon lights, and even a variety of vinyls. This change in the series was a conscious decision, as the tuning culture was booming in the early 2000s, fueled by films like The Fast and the Furious. This cultural movement gained increasing fans, and many game developers, including EA, wanted to jump on this trend. This eventually led to the creation of Need for Speed Underground, which focused on customizable street vehicles and allowed players to immerse themselves in the world of illegal street racing. In addition to tuning, the game also offered new racing modes such as drift and drag racing. The drift physics were significantly different from traditional circuit racing, presenting an exciting challenge. Drifting required precise timing and skill, while drag racing placed particular emphasis on gear shifts. Here, the player had to shift manually and avoid traffic on the road. A single mistake, such as shifting too late or a collision, could lead to losing the race. The game world of Underground was the fictional city of Olympic City, which bore a strong resemblance to metropolises like Los Angeles or San Francisco. Players climbed the ranks of street racing to ultimately face Eddie, the best driver in the city. The storyline of the game was simple but effective. The player had to battle through various types of races and challenges to earn the title of the best underground racer. A particular highlight was the extensive tuning system. Players could not only change the appearance of their vehicles, but also enhance performance by upgrading the engine, transmission, turbo, or nitro. The further players progressed in the game, the better parts and upgrades were unlocked. This progression system was a motivating force, as players could continuously work on their cars and elevate them to the next level. Although the number of available cars was relatively low at around 20, this was balanced out by the variety of tuning options. The list mainly consisted of affordable vehicles that one could also buy in real life, which gave the game a certain authenticity. In contrast to later Need for Speed titles, there was no open world, but this hardly mattered as the focus was on racing and vehicle customization. Underground offered a unique combination of exciting gameplay, an engaging atmosphere, and a soundtrack selection that perfectly matched the fast-paced races.
Back against the wall, I stand tall, face the grid, blow. Just a little too The prophet speaks his language, shrieks a vile dogma that steams and stinks.
The mix of rock, hip-hop, and electronic music contributed to intense racing experiences. Many of the tracks from the game became classics that were also heard outside of the game. The game laid the foundation for the sequel Underground 2, which expanded the features even further and added an open world as well as additional tuning options. However, Underground remains a milestone in the series and a game that significantly shaped the direction of Need for Speed. It offered not only technical and visual tuning, but also innovative racing modes that set the game apart from its predecessors and laid the groundwork for many subsequent titles in the series.